Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Apoorv Malik, and I will be the host of today's webinar on behalf of TNV Academy. It's time for me to introduce all of you to our guest speaker of the day. For today's webinar, we are glad to have Mr. Ajay Bajpai with us as the guest speaker. The topic with which he is here today with all of us is business continuity policy, which is covered under clause 5.2 of ISO 22301 standard. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy stream. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301, and 50001 standards, respectively. If we talk about his overall experience, that he has got an industrial experience of around 15 plus years in field of implementation of management system standards and around 25 plus years in field of auditing and training. He has been imparting training through the medium of webinars, seminars, live sessions, and online and offline mode to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs, and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminologies and how ISO standards are implemented within organizations. This was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you, Apoorv, and the team members who have joined this webinar today, which is at the fag end of the year 2022. Very soon we will be reaching New Year and we'll be talking a lot of new things, I believe. So today we are here with the new subject, new topic, which is the Business Continuity Management System Standard and the policy for the same subject. I have also written the clause number 5.2. I have also written the business standard heading. I am calling it a business standard because this is a purely business standard. The implementation of this standard has also not been done so far, so good, so now globally. But I am sure as people will start understanding that this is going to make a real impact onto their business, they will start implementing it more and more. As you can see, the heading of the standard itself is security and resilience. Then business continuity management system requirement. So this is one standard which I have been personally and into our groups of discussion are very happy to read through the various clauses and various lines because it is all talking of subject of business. So let's understand how this business maintenance is done through the business policy. Like we are here from TNV Academy. So TNV Academy has a business. What is the business of TNV Academy? Our business is very clear, very transparent, very open, and it is what? Sharing of knowledge on a common platform which we have gained and are gaining on a continual basis day in day out with the support of our global auditors, global trainers, global business associates. I have said business associate at the end with the support of marketing team. So this is the business. In every aspect of the situations which we have today in the world, we are conducting seminars, webinars, video sharing is going on. Why? Why we are doing this? Since this is the last seminar being conducted by me in this year 2022, next seminar I will start from the first week onwards. So let me conclude what have we done so far into these webinars through academy and by our individual efforts of the associate trainers for last couple of years, or say last decade plus 1 year since our existence from 2011 onwards. We have been trying to share our knowledge. We want to learn maximum possible which is available technologically, by system wise, and by whatever means when we are going for the auditing of the client, when we are having online and offline trainings, we try to involve all interested parties so that they learn, we learn, and we go on. And when we are not there, this knowledge base will be there for our generations to go through the academy channels, our videos, and so on, and they will keep on learning. So learning is one process which is very, very, clear, very, very simple. But we don't find many persons who are really open to learning. What happens? The only problem in learning we find that people have their own perceived ideas. They think we understand. They think we know the subject and subjects. So instead of listening and hearing and participating into the programs, they think they know most of this, so not interested to learn much. So that is one bottleneck which we have noticed for last few decades into the learning process. So our aim is very, very clear, and we'll continue with that. Let the knowledge be shared globally. Let the teams know all the technology of the management system available to them, and they can learn and earn out of it. Ultimately, it is a business, so they have to learn and earn as well. So, with this theme, I start with the business policy now. And I said this is one standard which is directly related to the continuity of the business. Everyone, whosoever is into the business, he is very happy or maybe little less happy because of the less profits, or more happy because of the more profits in a particular year or subsequent year or last decade, or plans of his business continuity for future, plan for next short term plan, long term plan, 3 year, 5 year, or whatsoever, as an organization or as an individual he has developed for himself and for his organization. Because we always talk of an organization, but definitely to meet the policy, individual policies needs to be developed. Unless the policy is going down to the situation of the lowest person in the organization who will be contributing towards the overall policy of the organization, the success will be not to the level which is thought by the organization, which is the vision and mission of the organization. So let's go now into the various requirements and the clauses and the practical inputs of it. We discussed practical cases. When I started discussions, I would have normally received few questions from the teams which are there globally in our TNV group. So I take that questions, and from that I start a practical discussion and practical inputs to this webinar. So this is in principle the beginning of the BCMS implementation into the organization. Generally people have different ways of implementation, but most of the organization will be starting from establishment of the business continuity policy. That is the responsibility and authority as well of the top management. So what all needs to be seen is here by them is appropriate to the purpose of the organization, since it is being implemented into my business of information security development. Globally, I am a company ABC who is developing information security systems for my global supplier, vendors, trainer, and so on. So my policy should be appropriate to that purpose. We have seen organization where the purpose is not in line with what the organization business is there. So then at the end of the day say, sir, policy documented being implemented, but there's some problem. We say problem is that you have not, gone through the process. We will see what is the process. Provides a framework for setting business continuity objectives. We have discussed earlier, and most of us understand that it is the smart objectives which will make a smart policy to be implemented into the organization. But if our policy itself is not smart enough, how will we be setting the right business objectives for the continuity of the business? So that's the key point. It includes a commitment to satisfy applicable requirements into the organizations, our business activities. We have got several requirements which comes from interested parties, which includes our shareholders, stakeholders, our suppliers, our contractors, our vendors, whatever term we want to use, customer, final customers, then also the legal authority, statutory and regulatory boards. So it should meet a commitment to see that they all are satisfied with that. Also, it includes a commitment for continual improvement of the BCMS. We are going for whether certification or no certification. We know hundreds of organizations in last many decades who are not at all going for certification, but they want to improve upon their business activity. They want to see that yes, their business continued with the desired results as per the vision and mission of the top management. So those improvement commitment must be a part of the BCMS policy. So that's the first part of the theme of BCMS. Now we go to the second part, which is the communicating of the policy. We always say a third party auditor, second party auditor, first party auditor into internal auditing also, that communication is the key word. Effective communication is making the organization successful in implementation of the policy. The policy shall be what? It should be available as documented information. Into auditing, we see that yes, it is documented as a documented information, not available left, right, center, here and there, and not controlled. So when we say documented information, it becomes a controlled document when we understand the concept of document and data control, which we have been discussing. Be communicated within the organization. Organization team should be aware of the policy, so it comes out of an effective communication system. It should be available to the interested parties as appropriate. It should not be sent to somebody who is not involved to that extent with our business, and unnecessarily we are communicating him, we are asking him, we are talking him. Internal auditor, second party auditor, third party auditors are going in a way that they go into an inappropriate discussion of the communication to somebody who is not supposed to be receiving it. We have a lot of examples of that into auditing, and we all waste time. So this as appropriate is the keyword here. Once we understand, then we go further. What are the desired results? I will start from here. Security resilience is the ability to protect the integrity of every aspect of our business. So understanding the language is very important. And what are the further output of it? Aspect of your business so it can withstand unpredictable threats or changes and emerge stronger. What is the theme of going for BCMS? Why policy is being documented? We need to see whatever available, unknown, unpredictable threats and changes are being understood, conceptually clear, and we become stronger. Security resilience is demonstrated, and we have ability to protect the integrity of our business. And so business continuity management policy is something like reaching here, and then we get back to organization team is trained on the concept of BCMS policy. Concept must be clear. We are into ABC manufacturing company, ABC service provider company. What is our concept of business policy? What are our business themes? What are our business requirements? How we are involving the teams? How interested parties are involved? How the context of organization is defined? So the linkages needs to be very clear. Internal resources, external resources, they are interfacing with the business policy is adequately to be understood. Give assurance that a BCMS system can achieve its intended results. For a particular purpose, we are going as an organization, ABC company, for BCMS certification 22301. So policy gives an assurance to that global requirement, customer requirements, sustainable development goals are met with the BCMS policy, documentation, implementation, and so on. Is auditable and question answer clarity, language meaningful and logical. When we are auditing, when we are looking at it, when we are trying to communicate it, as we have done in the last class, the team should be able to understand the language, the meaning, and the logical concept with respect to the business objectives. Also, it should meet the needs of interested parties when we are planning for the implementation of policy and we are able to plan it effectively. These are the intended results. Also needs the vision, mission, and direction of the company. Business direction, business continuity direction. Those are the keywords for understanding and implementing into an organization to see that yes, we reach a situation of continual improvement through BCMS. Security, resilience, and integrity we have discussed. We have started with that actually, so that we can understand this and we can withstand against the unpredictable threats and changes and emerge stronger. Changes are there every day, every second, every moment, some or the other. Change is coming, new concepts are coming. So we need to become stronger as an organization with the help of BCMS policy, which is done how? Which is done by effectively planning arrangements. We don't just write something copied, pasted here and there. We never appreciate that into any kind of auditing, whether going for certification or not, because ultimately it is a loss for the company, which we never wish and we never appreciate anybody to go into that direction. So first of all, it is the drafting. Drafting by whom? Drafting by involvement of the team members. Fine, involvement of consultants to a limited extent or a greater extent is appreciated by us, but then the involvement of the team members of the organization, my ABC company, my top management, my down the line team, unless they are involved into the drafting, we may not get those results. And then documentation of the same is done. And then approvals, who will approve it? Important to understand. Anybody and everybody cannot approve it. The top management even will have to think of this, because this is, we are talking of a business continuity management system standard. This is not something like 9001 where approvals of different units can be done by the second or third level of business heads. Here we try to understand that this is a business continuity policy, business continuity system. So we, our survival is at stake when we are thinking of business continuity and business continuity management, improvement, and so on. So the approvals needs to be done carefully. Who can approve it? Who can, review it, and so on. Then provide training to the teams. We always say, not only to few individuals in one unit or two units and three units. We have got various groups which keep on discussing how much is the training effectiveness in 10 units. That's okay. We will be doing sampling exercise sometimes into different kind of IMS systems and standards. But training throughout the organization, reaching down the line, is the key to success of the BCMS, because everybody, interested party to the teams, if they understand our themes of the top management and they all become business oriented individuals, even our machine operator, even our supply chain, the transporter person, the driver, he becomes a business minded. He understands that yes, my business is what? It should match with the business of the company, with the policy of the company, with the further downline objectives of the company. Then he can provide effective results into the implementation of his driving efficiency to see that yes, materials are dispatched in time and their and arrival time and tracking and all is done to meet my final business objective of my ABC service organization. Then what happens? For effective implementation, displays physical by cars, entry point, exit point, website, and so on are again key to the success of BCMS policy. The more it is known, the more it is conceptually understand, more interested parties are clear, as we will see here. This success is going to be achieved within time targets which we have decided when we thought we are going for certification, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, whatever are our plans. Then they're also implemented through various software. Today, a lot of organizations we visit, they are wholly or fully dependent upon various kinds of software, design software, supply chain software, material tracking software. So the policy will reach here through the software. Many organizations are good, but they sometimes fail to integrate like this. We say integration is very, very important. Gel it together, create a good bond of policy with the softwares you have so that they become part and parcel. Their blood group become the same, maybe, as I say sometimes. Communication within the organization and all interested parties. Okay, when I say all, we need to understand who are all of the appropriate interested parties where BCMS policy must be communicated. And as an auditors, we verify that how the communication has been done, how they have conceptually verified that interested parties have understood our theme and they are going to support us in the continuity of the business. They are equally concerned. My courier service is equally concerned in my sustainable business, because if I am sustaining, I am growing, he will also grow. So those are the concept. A transporter is a vendor supplier of the materials. If we as an organization are growing, our business policy intent is being met. So he will also grow with the theme that yes, continual improvement through PDCA plan of BCMS policy and so on. Action plan. A lot of organizations, we say, they are not able to have a clear implementation plan and they fail somewhere down the upside or down the middle side or down the bottom side. Failure can be on any sides. When we go into auditing, we are unbiased auditor. We have discussed it in series of auditing earlier done. So BCMS plan must be implemented and action should be further monitored and tracked along with the various processes and plans as per BCMS policy. We normally make a plan and then we get into action plan and implementation is done with respect to various processes, whether it is the incoming material, whether it is the customer communication, whether it is the customer feedback system, whether it is the customer complaint system. It's all related to our business. So how the business will grow once we are controlling all these bits and pieces together and we make ourselves a strong organization to stand against the threats which are emerging day in, day out, every day, every second, as we said. Analysis of BCMS policy. As the implementation are going on, analysis is also going on parallelly. That is what we expect from a intelligent and knowledgeable organization who want to see that his business sustains, business continuity is maintained. There's a very simple principle which we all have understood in with the last few decades of hard work, that either business grows or business goes down. There's no power who can keep the business retained at the same level. Somebody sometimes saying to auditing, sir, we are at the same level. So what? Your competitors have gone ahead, so you are left behind. So this analysis in the same way of the business policy, because we are talking of BCMS plans, not a normal general policy just for the sake of documenting and drafting. This is specifically, particularly going into the depth, the core of our business activity. So analysis all the time throughout the process is a key part of the policy implementation. Develop the policy chart of implementation. The organization will develop a chart. They have got multiple units, multiple departments, 10,000 persons working. We have been to that kind of organizations. So they develop various charts of implementation. My chart of implementation in Mumbai may be different from chart of implementation in Kuwait, maybe, because their culture, their operation, their method, their communication channels are different. The theme may be the same, plan may be the same, but devised and defined in a different way so that they can achieve it effectively. Finally, it will boil down to the same policy, the theme and all will remain the same, but implementation chart may be different. We appreciate, in fact, the differentiation done into the chart to get the desired results out of it. Once we have done that, we move further. We go where? We go into the implementation now. Now the planning, actions are all defined. Documentation is done. Drafting of the policy is done. It has been reaching now where interested parties, customers, final customers, down the line, peon, drivers, whosoever are involved into that particular business process, which has been defined by us in the beginning, they are all now implementing it. Now, after formulation, we are into third or fourth month of the implementation of the policy. So, the implementation and running of the business policy is on. We are running a short race or long race or a marathon into the company, depending upon whatever is our plan in the earlier slide. And then we keep on enhancing the effectiveness of policy implementation. We into training, auditing, first, second, third party auditing, always see that yes, how the effectiveness of policy implementation is being enhanced. When we started drafting the system, this was implemented throughout the organization. If we have done a review, 85%, 86%. So now we are going to enhance the effectiveness to a greater strength. How? Because we are into a implementation. We are going through a review system. We are going through a customer visits. We are going to invite interested parties who are coming otherwise also day in, day out. We take the feedback. So effectiveness will increase by inputs coming from all these resources. It has been displayed on websites. So there are interested parties, there are new suppliers, there are new customers who are giving feedback. They say, sir, language is not understood. Sir, the theme is not understood. You are a good businessman. Your organization is very good with respect to business, but policy does not intend for the effectiveness by view of various aspects of it. So we have to go for enhancement of effectiveness. We update the data in policy and objective planning chart. We are having various policy and objective planning charts. We need to keep on updating, improving it because the charts are very, very critical for our operation all the time. So what happens? This data analysis technique needs to be understood so that if we can effectively link policy with smart objectives and those charts having a data which is updated on a continual basis. We follow the management principle, the 7 new management principle, the PDCA, the Deming cycle, and so on. And we go on for updating the charts to see that yes, what we have achieved throughout the implementation of TNV Academy for conduct of webinars, that data is available. They have conducted 125 webinars, 55 videos have been uploaded on various aspects of their business. So, what is the tracking going on? Who were the faculty trainers available? Whose likes have come maximum? So, the chart needs to be updated if we have to see that yes, we as an organization are going for BCMS certification and BCMS policy of TNV Academy is to be reflected that way. Conduct the accurate and precise calculation after implementation. We are into effective logistic organization. We are into supply chain activity of goods and all. We are a service organization. So policy is being implemented. So up to what level it has reached. Our Chennai team is understanding it 99%. They are moving down with respect to policy. 85% in Pune unit where our warehouse is small. We are having a large set of implementation. 75% only in our UAE warehouse. So this is the situation coming out of accurate and precise calculation by the trained team with the support of interested parties, because ultimately the feedback will come from there. We as an organization cannot do much alone. We need to involve the customer. We need to involve the final customer. If we are into education system, what do? We go to society, we go to industry, we go to organization, we conduct a global survey ourselves or with the help of subcontracting it. But idea is to get the accurate and precise calculations done after implementation so that our business plan with respect to policy are effectively implemented and we know what is happening. We don't go by feelings. We don't go by the feelings of chairman, board of directors, managing directors. When we look at the third party auditing of top management with respect to policy implementation, policy drafting, and policy plans breaking into objectives. We look at the facts and figures. So we naturally here review the facts and figures with the involvement of all. Because if you have to audit and see whether we can recommend a company or not with respect to BCMS, policy implementation, clause 5.2, going to clause 6 and so on, 4.5, clause 10 interrelation, then we would like to see that yes, involvement of all is there into the inputs and data is being reviewed effectively for further improvements. So that's how we get into implementation, and implementation is on with respect to policy. We don't stop. We may take breaks. We may take breaks for conducting what? Analysis. When we are into implementation situation, we take some natural breaks as identified and as defined by our BCMS implementation team, the core team of implementation. So they now come to the study of the policy charts. Implementation has been on, implementation is being done. So the charts are being studied in what? Small groups, cross-functional teams, interdepartmental activities, inter-units, activities, inter-country activities. We go to a situation. So we study the status of BCMS policy and we move on further. What we do further? We get into the analysis of the data. Now in 6 months, we have started implementation from the month of July 2022. We are at end December 2022. So now we have got 6 month data available with us. Policy implementation data, policy drafting data, policy review data, policy management data, policy breaking down to objective and their interrelation data, policy getting linked with the context of organization, with the supplier monitoring policy, interlinked with the QA/QC plan of the business continuity management system. So all this is coming very clearly with the help of definitely the top management. So we do the analysis and we see that trends. Now, once we have this much available, so maybe we might have done a first internal audit in the month of October because 3 month implementation was on. So, what were the results? And now we are maybe going for second round of internal audit of BCMS implementation with the help of whom? With the help of trained and qualified auditors, internally trained, externally trained, going online training, physical training, whatever way, but training and qualification and their approval as ABC organization into supply chain activity on an international level covering South Asia. That's the scope of the activity maybe. So that activity is subject to internal audit by our core team coordinator who are supported by trained, qualified and auditors who understand this concept of BCMS policy. We have seen into the company that the teams have done the audit, but sheets are there very good. Some 5, 6, 7 forms are available. We say yes, yes, okay, okay, yes, yes, okay, okay. We feel sorry. We feel like crying. We feel like shouting at ourselves. Why we are into this company for conducting audits into an internal audit function, which is a good big file, but okay, 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 yes, 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 followed, followed, followed. That is not the intent of any internal audit or any second party audit or any to the extent third party audit by certification body. The board's team comes, they also review how the BCMS audit has been done because it is all a chain activity. How internal audit has been done into the company. This was reviewed by first party audit, then second party audit, then third party audit. So now it is the board audit is being conducted. So how this chain will get to a satisfaction level when the concept of BCMS policies are clear to this chain of auditors who start from, as I said, from internal audit to the third party auditors when their stage 1 audit is going on and is being conducted by a certification body. So this conceptual understanding of the internal auditors is very, very important. And when we look at the type of questionnaire, the checklist the company develop, we try to give a lot of inputs and comments by way of our observations and non-conformity that these did not meet the requirements. So recommendation and non-recommendation, follow points and etc. all depends upon the effectiveness of this. There has been organization where the internal audit file, hard, soft, with the help of software, has been able to show us a clear picture of the organizations of last 3 months or 6 months implementation wherever we were at that time or at the time of surveillance or certification. The entire picture was clear. We had to see everything otherwise as a sampling audit, but throughout this activity we could see a good picture, good video, audio, everything. The history comes here as a summary of the internal audit. When the summary of internal audit is prepared by trained, qualified, conceptually clear auditors, then what is done? Effective review of this policy is done in management review meeting, corporate business planning meeting, whatever name is there. Many times auditors give unwanted comments on the companies when it is going to our review system. We have got a 2 or 3 tier layer of review system where a certification needs to be issued. So that time we noticed that yes, this was not effectively commented. Comments are good, welcome, but what is not important is the words. Okay, what is important is the meaning, the concept. We always tell our auditors, look at the concept, whatever name they have given, but have they reviewed the business policy by involving this theme coming from his input coming from here, data coming from here, and then they involve the responsible managers as per the agenda plan. If their agenda is adequate, have they involved Hong Kong Singapore unit business heads to review the business policy into the management review meeting or not, or only if their deputies have come, or the deputies who participated were effectively conceptually clear upon their business policy broken down into the objectives and various departments. Have they brought the input to discuss from Hong Kong unit for supply chain activity? If there is the international organizations into supply chain, global 50, 60 offices, we come across that situation. So, how that is being reviewed in the management review meeting? Or it is just done, few persons have participated, something has been documented. No, we don't appreciate, we will never appreciate. Companies are put on subject for a review of the audits, follow-up audit and so on, re-audit. Organizations are failed, they are not recommended for certification to 22301 standards if they fail doing all this, because if they cannot do all this effectively, that means all money resources which they have put to enhance their effectiveness of business processes and business continuity management, if failing, then we also fail as an auditors at whatever level of auditing, stratifications we have. So for our success, for the organization success of business continuity management systems, our aim is to see that yes, effectiveness is increased. We don't go there to fail the organization, but yes, we have to see that we don't are recommended with so much of weaknesses that they ultimately go down the drain with all their money resources which they have put into implementation. We as an auditors have to be very, very careful. We are having a lot of responsibility. Our responsibility is, I will say, unlimited with respect to ISO community globally. So we have to be responsible to that extent when we are moving towards the year new year 2023, where these new standards and new policy will hopefully come into more implementation, and our teams can see the new standards are being implemented in a bigger and more responsible method. Then what happens? We need to implement and monitor the further actions and future plans. The inputs have come from here. We have reviewed this, we have reviewed this, we have reviewed this. Effective sheets are there, discussed with the various units management representatives, MR1, MR2, Deputy MR, MRCR1, CRM2, 1, 2, 3. Terms are not important. What is important is they have understood this and they have got the implementation plan, and those implementation plans coming out of here are put to further actions, and future plans are clear to the management, and they know what has been lost, what is going to be lost, what has been gained, what is going to be further gained. You know, once we are able to do that in a positive perspective, utilizing PDCA effectively, Deming cycle and so on, then we look at what is the clause 10 of implementation with the help of 5.2 the policy, and we keep on tracking these improvements. When we see into the audit reports review, lot of review reports, feedback, analysis comes to our team, and we see what improvement has been reported, recorded with respect to the ABMS policy and the implementation and taking what direction. Once we understand this, then January 2023, our organization is going for certification. So what will happen? We can be trained through training organization like TNV Certification Private Limited, having exemplar global accreditation for conducting of internal auditor, lead auditor courses for 22301, and we get this training and all done. Once the training implementation all is done, we reach to a system of certification, stage 1, stage 2 situation, and our websites are very useful and informative, and they further guide us for the process of certification. For the ease of the clients, we always take care that ease of client, ease of customer is always taken care by our team with a good and effective communication management system, so that clients are not left in between. We have a excellent hand holding of the client when they approach us for certification to these new standards, because the concepts are not clear. They do not understand lot many things. They try to start attempting. So we start discussions from the contract review status to the stage 1, stage 2, and surveillance and recertification and so on, so that ultimate aim of improvement through class 10 is achieved. So this is what we thought we have discussed. We have started from here understanding the term, the threats, the technological threats, the management threats, and so on. So we need to understand the frameworks and formulation of the policy, the business continuity policy, because we are having a theme of business continuity management system directly related to the implementation of what business development into business continuity system. That is what we have to see. We have to be careful when we are looking at the organization who have attempted or who are attempting or who will be attempting or who will be adding many standards. The theme should not be diluted. The theme should not be left behind. Other standards may take lead, but this should not be lost in between the process. So we further go into the communication, which is another key area. We go to the desired result, which we have discussed. Desired results are several here, broken down into various contents, procedures, questions, auditing, and so on, with the help of interested party and meeting the vision and mission of, with the help of direction of the top management finally. Then we do the drafting, not just copy paste policies. We hate that as trainers and you know implementers and auditors. They don't understand. Copy paste may be good for somebody, but not most of them, because they will fail. If not today, tomorrow, I am sure they will have non-conformity. May not be today, maybe into surveillance audit. We have seen organizations failing even after 3 years of certification, 6 years of certification. Maintenance siege has been raised, and they got into a lot of problems. Resources has been lost, money has been lost, business continuity plans and situation have gone down. So we need to see all this is done. And then we are into action, software, hardware, whatever way we are implementing. Let's see that analysis is done all the time. Many softwares may not be good for your organization. Many hardwares may not be good for your organization, because your culture is different, your country is different, your state is different, your language is different, your business partners are different as business associate or subcontractor auditors or whatever. So you take decisions by looking at your organization to see that your business objectives are ultimately met with the smart policy and smart objectives. Then implementation is going on. Look at it very carefully. Whenever implementation is not going with respect to your planning done, please take care. Please give inputs to the top management, to the core committee, to the business heads, to the business continuity team managers, to the assets handling team, to the ISMS team, because it is also very much interlinked with the information security management systems, and now it is also getting further linked with the PIMS. So most of the standard have got a lot of interrelation going on. So let's be careful into implementation. Then analysis with the trained team. Don't ask somebody, go and analysis, give me a feedback. So first train him on these concepts, then only he can be involved into these things, and then only he can involve into the meeting. We have been part and parcel of some of the meetings going on when we conduct the lead auditor courses, and we become a part of the some core group. We give examples, case studies. So do they understand it, or somebody has been just assigned to conduct a audit? Or when we interview the team of the internal auditor, we find that their concepts are not clear. So how they can effectively implement and review the implementation, how they can conduct an effective internal audit without their concept being clear. So self-important, self-development, self-understanding ourselves as a businessman, I would say, to see that my organization is going upon with the support of these elements, and further actions and improvements are brought about. And then certification, surveillance, recertification, they are all situations coming into picture. So this is what I thought I will discuss with the team members who are present into this webinar. So now if you have questions, you are most welcome. This is one seminar which is almost conducted at the flag end of the year 2022. So we believe and we understand that many team members globally are already on leave. So participation may not be that good at times into this kind of a situation. But we thought we will conduct it with a new topic, because Apur will explain what will happen further. So Apur, to you if there are no questions.
Surely, sir, if the participants do not have any questions as of now, they can watch this particular webinar session again on our YouTube channel known as TNV Academy, absolutely free. And in case they have any questions at that particular point of time, they can put in the questions in the comment section of the video, and we will be really happy answering them. In 2023, as suggested by Bajpayee sir, we will be going ahead and continuing a lot of new topics. Amongst them is the 2022 transition of ISO 27001, which we have already started. One session we have already done on that, which was the introduction to the 2022 version, and we will be going in detail about this particular transition in the year 2023. Apart from that, we will be picking up some new topics as well, which are not covered till now in our webinar sessions. And we will be regularly updating you on the discussions which will be coming up in 2023 as well. As the part of the conclusion of this particular session, we are really grateful, first of all, for Mr. Ajay Bajpayee for conducting all these sessions till date. In the year 2022, we began last year with TNV Academy with the intent to promote and aware people across the world, across the globe about ISO policies, ISO terminologies and concepts. And we think we have done good enough to communicate our knowledge, whatever TNV can perform on the basis of spreading the knowledge about ISO concepts. So we thank all of you for your participations, which you have already given and have always given us in our all of the webinars which we have conducted till now. And heartiest thanks to Bajpayee sir for coming up with new concepts and topics and sharing his sheer knowledge on them, so that everyone gets aware and is ready to implement the same within their organizations as well. Again, the topic which was discussed today was very fruitful and was very informative. BCMS is a standard, which is very critical to any kind of an organization, despite of its size, its operations, what kind of operations they perform. BCMS can be implemented within any kind of an organization. So I again thank Mr. Ajay Bajpayee sir for his sharing such a vast and sheer knowledge on the concept of BCMS policy. And I again thank all the participants who took out time from their busy schedule and joined in the last webinar of this particular year. We will be joining you soon in the year 2023. TNB wishes you a very happy new year to all of you and all of your family. May the new year brings a lot of happiness in your lives. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you so much.